Welcome back. It's time for us to take a look at the boost pipes on the Mazda MX-5 NA8 build. Now we're still waiting for a few things to really get this turbo conversion underway, properly swing spanners, but we can do a lot of the planning in the meantime. So in this video we're going to go through what you're going to need, where we're going to route the piping, and do a little bit of a mock-up and a test fit before we install them permanently. Let's get to it. Alright, here we go. Ye old engine bay, Mazda MX-5, and ye old pointer stick. A nice piece of PVC for you. So, the turbocharger is going to sit in this region over here, and the downpipe is going to have to head all the way down there. We need to get the air that is coming out of the compressor housing from here all the way around here to the throttle body. But we need to do that going via the intercooler, which is mounted, well, down in the front of the bumper. So we've got two ways of doing that. What we can do is we can run from the turbocharger, we can run those pipes over, and they can come down here through this slam tray over here, down to the intercooler, across, come back out over here, and then straight in. That's not too bad, but that would also mean having to modify some of these areas here on the bonnet, and I'm not too keen on doing that. So what we want to do is we want to take it from the turbo over here. We're going to send it, well, down here. We're then going to send it around the radiator. It's the end of the radiator over there. Around the radiator, into the intercooler, across through the intercooler, around the radiator, and we're going to bring it up over here and into there. Now, it would be great to have a fabricated steel pipe that, connects everything together with only a few junctions, but we're going to piece this together, a bit like a Lego set. Before we get carried away with our shopping list, let's take a few measurements. So, I'm going to grab a measuring tape or a ruler. I know it should be a vernier, but hey, you work with what you got. And we need a few measurements. We need to measure the throttle body diameter. We need to measure the outlet diameter of the turbocharger. We're going to do the inlet as well because we need some piping for that. That's going to go to the air filter. And then we need either end of our intercooler. Now the intercooler dimensions are going to vary. Our one is a 550 by 180 or 220 by 65 thick. And that's all in millimeters. And then we've got a 57 millimeter outlet on either end. So generally, most of the stuff is, 2.25 inches, 57 millimeters, and I think that's pretty much the piping that we're going to go with throughout it all. So, let's scratch around and draw a couple of diagrams on a piece of paper and figure out how we're going to be routing this. Now, this is going to require a little bit of imagination, of course, a piece of paper and a pencil. Thankfully, I have a bit of a drawing background, technical drawing that is, so I could envision the thing in, what's known as an isometric projection. You're going to take a few attempts at this, trust me. This was not my first attempt, this was pretty much just drawn for the camera. Trust me when I say that there were several revisions before I got to this final drawing. Managed to get a number of the clamps and of course make a note of all the dimensions I would need, and this is going to allow us to formulate a bit of a shopping list, and from there you can always just head online. And thankfully Mr. Turbo was one of those places that had listed what sort of reducers, bends, and of course straight pieces you could get and in what diameters. I decided I was going to go for black silicone hoses and try and keep a bit of a stealthy approach, no need to get loud and shouty in the engine bay. I got a couple of 90-degree bends, a couple of reducers, and of course some plumbing and fittings for the blow-off valve and that idle control valve. Trust me when I say if you can find a store that is nice and close to you that has stock of these items, it's going to be best to use them, because chances are you're going to get a measurement wrong and you're probably going to calculate something wrong somewhere along the line. This is our canvas. We're going to use this area over here to lay out everything and get an idea of where everything needs to go. Let's get to it. Right, so using a piece of chalk, we're just going to outline a couple of the things that we need. So let's give ourselves an intercooler here. It's a little tough to try and envision a 3D sort of layout on a 2D format, but it's going to give us an idea of where everything goes. So on either side of those, we're going to have 57mm pipes heading out that way. Those are going to be joined by couplers. This is now to go around the radiator. It's going to go around there with another 57 bend, another 57 bend. So we've gone around the radiator. Intercooler sitting upright, and we're going around the radiator. Now we're going to turn it, and we're going to bring it back up. Which means we need couplers. And more 57mm bends. Now where those are heading up, we still need to plumb in our blow-off valve as well as our idle control valve, intake air control valve, idle air control valve, IACV, whichever one it is. That one we're going to put on that side, on the left-hand side, and I think the BOV we're going to put on the right-hand side, maybe. All right. For those, we have T-piece couplers. Show you how we're going to use those now. Idle controls, blow off. Not a lot of height there, hey? Okay. Let's see. If there's enough height, well, then we're going to be able to go into the throttle body with that. If not, we're going to have to extend one of these. And we may even need another coupler. But that distance, that's pretty much the height of the radiator, may not be too high. And can always angle these up a little bit to give this some additional height. Test fit is going to show that to us. Okay, idle control valve. Needed a reducer for that one. So we have that reducer over there. Great, that's going to work. Blow-off valve, well, we struggled with getting the sizes right, so the only one we could get was a 45 degree, but that's okay, we're still going to fit that one. Now let's fit it over there. Then we're going up to the turbo outlet. That one's over there. That's a reducing pipe. That takes us from 57mm on that side to 51mm on that side, which is the outlet of our turbo. Of course, then we have, well, the intake to the turbocharger. So let's get the turbocharger. Let's put it down there. Okay, but in theory, that one's going to come off over there, and that one's going to come off over there. So let's turn it a little bit, and life will make a little more sense. Let's put it down like that. Then we know exactly what's happening. That side is our throttle body. And then of course we have a nice fat engine down the center. Great stuff. Okay, that looks like it could just work. So this is our turbocharger system. The air will be coming into the turbo over there and out of the turbo down this pipe. We're running the BOV off that side, and then this goes straight down. It widens out around the radiator. We then make a bend around the radiator into the intercooler. There's our intercooler. Couldn't put it down here because it's already on the car. It comes out of the intercooler and around the radiator. Then it comes up. This is an upward bend. Once again, we're doing this in 2D. From there, it needs the idle control valve. So we have that adapter over there. And then into the throttle body. Happy days. Engine in the center. So that is our layout. Now we just need to throw some clamps at it. There we go, with everything unwrapped. Well, no clamps at it just yet. That gives us an idea of how things are going to need to be fitted. Now, some of the pipes are going to need to be trimmed. So, folks, measure twice, cut once. Why no clamps yet? Well, because it's still a test fit. We're going to be going with the blow-off valve. So IAV and BOV both on the same side. This seems like a semi-appropriate place for a BOV. Okay, and we've got a 45, so let's angle that one up by 45 degrees, like that. Let the BOV go up there, and then it'll sit here, it can be tied off to these. That's going to be that idle control valve. Okay, yeah, this is working, this is going to work nice. Alright, here we go. Another 57mm 90 degree. So this is now going up. And we also need to take a bit of a chunk off of this one to get it up there. Alright, we want it about over there. So we need to take off to over there. Okay, so that's the one that's going to go up. Needing as much length there as we can get, so yeah, let's leave that in place. Okay, that and that is not going to meet up. We are going to need assistance. That distance, over there to there. I thought it was going to meet up. Unfortunately, it's not. Okay, let's dig the BOV out and just take a look at that fitting as well. Okay, there are the small hose clamps for those ones. Okay, keep that one side. BOV is in here. HKS SSQV. Blow-off valve. The bit that I'm interested in is this fitting here. Yeah, we can take her there. Just leave a little extra length. I think that's the cold side. That looks like the cold side. And that doesn't look too bad if I do say so myself. Okay, here's our blow-off valve. Struggled to get that circlip in just a little bit. Had the wrong tools, but managed to make it work. I think I'm actually going to start putting clamps on this cold side. I'm quite happy with how this cold side is turning out. And I think it's time to, well, clamp it up. Oh, I hate these clamps. I know there's a tool for it, but screw it. Okay. Alright. So there we go. That's what it looks like down at the bottom there. Just straighten things up and that'll run a bit like that. Okay, throw some clamps on this thing. So we bolted up a lot of the cold side and we started a bit of the plumbing on the hot side. Can't really make it out down there. We are a few connectors shy, but that's okay. We're going to get to them. Let's pop in under here. We've got the boost pipe running all the way around that side. And then running up. And that's where we run out of connectors. And that's okay, because we haven't fitted the turbocharger onto the manifold just yet. Or at least the turbo manifold and the turbo. We haven't fitted those on yet. We still have the standard exhaust. So that's making things, well, that's hindering a little bit of progress. I did say that I want to hook up the management first and get it tuned while it's still stock. We're going to wait for that. Alright, so let's go. We've got bandy lines, it's LED lights and frame rates and all that sort of stuff, but we've got some of the plumbing in. All I need to do is just replace the intake manifold here with the airflow meter, and then I can move the vehicle again. The rest of the stuff is pretty bolted in place, not the end of the world. So I will still be able to tune it with all of this sort of plumbing in the way, not the end of the world. We can get there. And then, of course, tune it for boost once we've actually fitted the manifold. But we need to drill oil lines first, so that's probably going to be our next big hurdle. But as well as we planned that boost pipe layout, we didn't get it all right. We were missing a few components, a few vital components to prevent us from that prevent us from finishing this. I think we're going to need another 2 connectors here. I'll maybe get 3 just to play safe. And we're going to need a few more clamps. So a few clamps and a few connectors. The rest of it, pretty good. I think we actually overcated on the silicone. Way too much silicone here. And I haven't even touched this length just yet. Although that we're probably going to use about much of it. That's a pity. Oh well, the rest are up for donations then. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and we hope to be back with, well, continuation of this. Oil lines and of course hooking everything up. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Cheers.